Premier League fixture number 10 of this campaign sees Nottingham Forest visit Anfield this afternoon as Liverpool look for another 3 points to continue what's been a very positive start to the season. And it's right here on Merseyside where the Reds have been the most impressive. 7 wins from 7 at home in all competitions so far. Jürgen Klopp will be hoping for more of the same, as will we all. All the action gets underway at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Welcome along to Matchday Live. Now, before we talk about today's game, there is a club statement to bring you regarding the family of Luis Diaz. And it reads as follows. Liverpool Football Club can confirm it is aware of an ongoing situation involving the family of Luis Diaz in Colombia. It is our fervent hope that the matter is resolved safely and at the earliest possible opportunity. In the meantime, the players' welfare will continue to be our immediate priority. And the thoughts of all of us here, of course, are with the family of Luis Diaz and the player himself at this moment in time. Joining me pitchside for today's fixture with Nottingham Forest, Phil Thompson and Gary Gillespie. This is an iconic fixture. Both of you have played in this, of course. It must evoke some memories, Gary.
Well, I think all the semi-finals and obviously the big league game here that Tom Finney, the great Sir Tom Finney, late Sir Tom Finney, described as the best game of football he'd ever witnessed. So to be part of that was really something special, and to actually score and contribute as a goal. I don't know if Tom will ever scored against Nottingham Forest. I sincerely doubt it, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, it's special.
Phil? Do you know what? They have been. People might not realise this, but they were a thorn in our side.
Huge,
back in those late 70s, what they did was quite miraculous, to come up straight from the second division into the first division, and for them to compete so quickly, not just domestic but in Europe as well. So they did. We had some momentous games against them. It was quite, the 1978 League Cup final replay, which I was adjudged to foul John O'Hare inside the box. Why? Where was VAR then?
Oh.
But yes, they
I'm
have.
glad to see you've let it go, like, slip by you, like you've got over it.
He's over it now, he's fully over it.
But it was that they were a very good team. I'm making it out as though, yeah, they were a good footballing side as well, and tough.
Well, listen, we've got lots more Forest nostalgia coming up a little bit later on in the show. You will enjoy it. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But in terms of today's game, Gary, maybe not quite the force, obviously, that they once were, and this on paper might not be one of the biggest fixtures of the Premier League season, but it's important 3 points as is any other, and to keep momentum going and get back amongst it at the top of the
100%,
table.
100%, and I think what you think about Liverpool at this moment in time, Anfield has been a bit of a fortress, and I think you've got to go back all the way to Leeds United for the last game that we lost here. So our momentum is really good. It's exciting times at Liverpool, I think, at this moment. I think when you look at the players that have come in, it's given us a freshness, it's given us a kind of lift that we probably needed at the beginning of the season, and the performances have been really encouraging. And I think if we can continue that sort of form throughout the course of the season, well, who knows what can happen. So, but it's these sort of games that, certainly last season we slipped up too many times, we drew too many games against the lower echelons of the Premier League. So vitally important, I think, that we get the 3 points this afternoon.
Well, he beat us at the City Ground, didn't he? Which was a real disappointment.
It was a tough one, that wasn't it?
Losing 1-0. But here they gave us a game. Steve Cooper knows how to set up a team, makes it very difficult. They know where they sit in the positions of the Premier League, but they can make it difficult for teams. They can counter-attack, they've got long throws, they can throw different things at you to worry you, and I think we've got to be on our toes again. Last year was a bit too comfortable. 3-2 here at Anfield. You come away thinking, my goodness, we've got away with one there. We didn't play as well as we can, but as Gary said, there's things happening with this side, and as now supporters watching the team, you're excited again, because last season you didn't know what you were going to get from game to game. Now some of these players, the likes of Zoboslai and even McAllister, sort of the jury's out, what's his best position, but there's things there, and Gravenberch in the last few games, has stepped up. So there's different things which are exciting everybody once again.
And when you look at the next few weeks, without wanting to tempt fate, of course, Manchester City are on the horizon after the next international break. Before that, though, it is Forest, of course, today. Then it's Luton and Brentford. As you alluded to, Gary, a few slip-ups against the lesser sides of the Premier League, if you like, last season. And we can't afford to be doing that if the titles are ambition.
As pundits and as fans and spectators, we tend to look at fixtures, don't we? And I've never really been one to think, well, we're playing such and such, that's a three-pointer, and then there's a three-pointer there, and it never quite works out that way. And certainly last season we slipped up too many times against the lesser sides. I think we dropped so many points with the teams in the bottom six that you've got to go into these games and approach them in the correct manner. Not to say that Liverpool didn't do that. There was obviously mitigating circumstances that we probably weren't at our best, but I think yes, certainly looking on paper, Liverpool are in a really good position at this moment in time with the games coming up. But in saying that, the football game is never played on like a piece of paper.
Not played on paper, we always say that, don't we? But 9 points should be, despite what Gary's just said, it should be the aim, of course, from these next 3 games.
We're feeling more confident about that now. And as I said before, last season, you didn't know what you were going to get from week to week, whether it was here at Anfield or certainly away from home. We would have a good result against one of the big boys and then throw it again away the following week. So the big word is consistency. We've been far better. And we look as though now we've got more goal threat. And not just from the lads up front, which is great because they're all chipping in. But behind that now, you feel like that there's a goal in there. Now Trent's new position, there he gets more opportunities to have a shot. Szoboszlai's giving you a new lease of life. Since the Ox's first couple of seasons, to have that threat from outside the box. And now we all get excited when we see Szoboszlai. Anything 30 yards out, you're thinking, go on, and he can hit. So we've got all these variations to the side, which helps us to win more games.
OK, well, we're hoping for 3 points today. It certainly was 3 points on Thursday night here against Toulouse. Let's just refresh you how this game unfolded. Obviously, so many positives to take from Toulouse, Gary. Of course, the scoreline, but so many young debutants as well, and the fact that those players who came in performed really, really well.
Well, a nice blend, isn't it? It's a nice position to be in, I think, with the Europa League and obviously with the Carabao Cup to bleed and let a couple of youngsters get a feel of what it's all about. I think the young lad Chambers, he struggled at times, in all fairness. I thought they could have given him the ball a little bit more, but in saying that, it's 90 minutes that he's had under his belt, and he'll feel the benefit of that. I think we were too strong for them in the end. I thought, Joe Gomez, I thought, had an exceptional game when he came into the side and played centre-back. And then the variety of the goals that we score, I think that's the big plus for me this season. You've got the likes of Nunez, who runs about up front, he runs his socks off, causes all sorts of problems for defenders. Sometimes his finishing is a little bit dubious, as we saw it just there. He got an assist for that as well, I think. But I think all round it was a really good performance from a group of players that got a full 90 minutes under their belt, got a lot of game time, which again is a plus. And I think it looks as if we're going to qualify from that group quite comfortably.
Yeah. I think the changes that Jürgen's got from the first couple of games in the Europa League was very good, made more changes, but he's done it again, mixed things up on Thursday night, and it comes up trumps. I'm seeing people come on. Biggest case there is Mo's joy when he scores that goal. Now, even you go back to the Rangers game last season when he comes on, scores a hat-trick. It's like that, and you're going, he comes on, scores a goal, he's delighted to score the 5th goal. Yes, we lost the customary goal ourselves, but Mo Salah's just that thing, that enjoyment, that togetherness when everybody runs over is still celebrating the 5th goal, tells me that there's a great mood within the camp.
Any goal precious to Mohamed Salah. Right, we are now exactly an hour away from kick-off. It is now time to get that all-important Liverpool team news. Peter McDowell has got the details. Peter.
Thanks, Becky. It is another game of rotation for Jürgen Klopp today. He's made 11, 6 and 8 changes to his last 3 Europa League squads, but really happy this week that the team that will play today were able to get a full training session in on Friday. So he makes another 7 changes to that team that was successful in Europa League the other night. Let's go through those in full for you then. And this is the team that he's gone with for today. So Alisson returns in goal. Of course, hasn't missed the second of the league campaign so far. Trent keeps his place. The 2 centre-backs, Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate. Konate saved probably for that Europa League, having played 2 full games for France during the internationals and playing in the derby as well. So saved in midweek. He's back in the side, as is Costa Tsimikas. This is the first time he started back-to-back games in the Premier League for over a year. The ever-impressive Ryan Gravenberch keeps his place in midfield, alongside Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister, and Jota in the side as well, left side of that front 3. Of course, no Luis Diaz in that Liverpool squad for today. Jota, 1 goal off 50 in the Premier League, 5 already this season. He got 3 in his last 2 games against Nottingham Forest, so hopefully that's a lucky omen for the Reds today. Darwin Núñez up top as well, 5 goals, 4 assists in his 12 games this season. And Mo Salah, who set another European record on Thursday, a goal today would mean he scored in all 5 Premier League games. Our mate John Aldridge, the last player to do that back in 1987. He's only 3 goals away from 200 goals in Europe as well. It's a game that used to be a game between 2 European superpowers. Of the 15 European Cups that English clubs have delivered, Liverpool and Nottingham Forest account for 8 of them. Today, it's just for 3 points.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. As we were saying, a truly iconic fixture. In terms of that team, obviously, Gary, we knew no Luis Diaz today. Ryan Gravenberch comes in. It's Ibou Konate alongside Virgil van Dijk. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, listen, Liverpool are in a really fortunate position at this moment in time that they can bring in chop and change, and it really doesn't weaken the team that much, to be quite honest with you. I think the big question is, does McAllister still fit that role of the number 6? And at this moment in time, that seems to be the way that Liverpool have gone. I think Núñez coming in, I think he did enough midweek to suggest that he would even started. Probably even had Luis Diaz actually been in the starting 11, I still think that Núñez would have started. But it's a good balance. As I say, there's plenty of attacking options, and you think that there's plenty of goals in that team as well. So all round, I think hopefully Nottingham Forest are in for a hard afternoon.
I think it's quite an exciting midfield, isn't it? I'm not sure whether these 3 have actually started together. I doubt it. But Gravenberch, I've watched him play, and I've watched him sort of playing games, starting games, come on as sub. And when he started, he gets to about an hour in a game, and you've gone, wow, what a player here. And then that last half an hour, you're going, he drifts out of the game. I think it's a fitness level. Playing in the Premier League, he did play very little for Bayern Munich last year. And he bursts past people so easy. He's so graceful. He's bringing another asset to this team that we've already got from Szoboszlai and McAllister, other players. This guy's something different again. I don't like players running with it from too deep. Gravenberch, when he does his running, it's always in, over the halfway line, in their half. Because sometimes I think, if they're running with the ball, they're running with it because they don't see a pass. This boy does, and he's picking out players, i.e. just like that I think the boy is bringing it. He's such an asset to this side.
Yeah, there's such strong competition, Gary, for that 3rd spot in midfield. But this is his 3rd start in a row now. So do you feel that he's done enough to make that spot his own at the moment?
I think he found it difficult when he first came, which is obvious. He hadn't played, as Phil said, he hadn't played an awful lot for Bayern Munich. It was a big expectation when he moved from Ajax to Bayern Munich. Didn't quite work out for him, but he's come here. Jürgen Klopp, as Jürgen Klopp does, gives the confidence and the belief in these players, and he looks as if he's thriving on that. He does pick up these little pockets of space just in behind the opposition's midfield and in between the back 4, and when he does do that, he is dangerous, and I think he's certainly one to watch. I wasn't quite sure when he first came into the side, but again, I think it was just maybe a lack of game time, a lack of fitness. But he really is emerging as a real threat, a real force, and it will be difficult if he keeps that kind of form that we've seen. It will be difficult for the likes of Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott to get back into the side.
I think one of the big things, it gives us more of an offensive attacking talent, so it puts a lot of onus on McAllister. which, as Gary said, the jury's still out whether he's right for that position, and because you need protection in front of the two centre-backs. And if McAllister wanders or gives the ball away, sometimes we're searching for it. So there still is, it's still learning this, but it's very exciting.
Yeah, I want to touch on something you said about Bayern Munich, actually, and the lack of opportunities that he's got there. Obviously, it's early days here at Liverpool, but he started just over half of the 9 fixtures he's been eligible for since joining, 55%. If you contrast that to Bayern Munich, he only started 12% of games for them, and he must just be relishing the opportunity to get out there and play again.
Well, I think any time that you hear him getting interviewed, he's loving it. He's always got a big smile on his face, and I think he's playing it actually on the pitch with a big smile as well. And as I say, I think when you look at Liverpool, like they've done it in the past, they've signed players that have not quite achieved maybe their expectation of the goals at like other clubs, and then they're coming and done exceptionally well. Mo Salah was probably one of them as well. Didn't really work out for him at Chelsea, went to Roma, kind of found a little bit of form, and then Liverpool signed him. Every other club had a big opportunity to sign Mo Salah. They didn't do that, and Liverpool certainly been the benefactor. And who's to say Gravenberch is not one of these players as well?
OK, we shall see. He starts today, Ryan Gravenberch. It is a 2 o'clock kickoff here at Anfield. And don't forget, we'll be bringing you live audio commentary of all the action on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. Natasha Dowie will be alongside Steve Hunter on the gantry, and then Tomo, Gary and myself are back with you from 4:15. We are here with the Matchday reaction. Free highlights of today's game will be available to watch on LFC TV Go at 6 o'clock tonight, and you can see the match in full from midnight this evening. And also as well, do look out for Inside Anfield. That's from midnight tomorrow, and that will be on the club's official Facebook and YouTube pages. So plenty of coverage of this fixture to look forward to across our platforms. For those of you watching us on social media right now, you can continue with our Matchday Live build-up on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. Details of how you can become a subscriber right now can be found at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Much more to come over the next 45 minutes or so, including the thoughts of Jürgen Klopp, Kostas Tsimikas and Forest boss Steve Cooper as well. We are back in a few minutes' time.